What's going on, bowlers? Chris Beans here with Bowlers Rant, bringing you one new update from Ebonite Bowling. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Okay, we've got a batch of releases and Ebonite is no exception. One update coming stateside. Here is the Game Breaker for Pearl. I repeat, Game Breaker for Pearl. I did a video on the original Game Breaker 4 with my good friend Gerald Richardson from 12 Bagger, and that ball just moved bonkers, and it was a solid. Now we have the Pearl. Now, if you remember, there was a Game Breaker ASIM, which was also Pearl, but this is a symmetrical Pearl, and right off the bat, that shelf appeal looks fantastic. Oh my goodness, I like it. Might have to grab one just how good it looks. Okay, let's head on over to the interwebs and figure out what is going on here. So here we are on the Ebonite website, and let's head on over to the Game Breaker 4 Pearl section. Okay, so right on the website, they're saying it's hard to beat a Game Breaker. I don't disagree with that in the symmetrical line because the Game Breaker is that kind of ball. This always performs, yada yada. Now, they were saying how the Game Breaker was a fantastic release for Ebonite, and they're following it up with a Pearl version. So they're saying compared to the Game Breaker 4 Solid, you can expect a cleaner ball motion with excellent continuation. Will not be the strongest Pearl in your bag, but will be the most versatile and useful. So, translation, house shot killer, and should be usable for a variety of players. Of course, we want to jump into the specs, so let's get into that. This ball has the GB12 Pearl reactive cover stock and comes with the enhanced V2 core. The color, ruby and smoke. Dear friends at Brunswick, I really like this pour. This color scheme looks amazing. This is in the mid-level, performance category. Pearl reactive cover stock. The finish 500, 1000, 1500 CA Aero micropad with crown factory compound, and the numbers at 15 pounds, 2.48 RG with a .048 differential. So let's talk about what kind of ball this is. And by the way, here is a picture of the enhanced V2 core, and it has dynamic core, 12% more hitting power. Coefficient of restitution is the word salad, as I like to say, and translation, that means more pin carry, kinetic energy to the pins. So what kind of ball is this? So this is a symmetrical Pearl. This is something you're going to use for a variety of different styles of players. The high revers and people who like to see their ball shape and have the hand to support that kind of game typically like to use that skid snap or late arc motion, get to the friction and let the ball in the core do the work with the appropriate layout. Or you might be the person that likes to keep this on hand after you use something like a Game Breaker 4 Solid or something like a Knockout or even like a Prism Solid or an Evo Solid, something that you would ball down to from using a really strong cover. That would be, when the lanes start to get a little toasty, you get through some transition and you need to get something down the lane. So what's really cool about this, you've got several different steps in the finish process. So 500, that's typically a lot of teeth. 1000, that's a few steps up. And 1500, you get a little bit more length to round out those curves into the sanding process. And then crown factory compound, which I think is the equivalent of 2500 grit with shine. And this means that you're going to retain a lot of energy until you see the friction, the ball shapes up, and you blast back into the pocket. So if you remember the original ball motion on the Game Breaker 4 Solid, just expect this one to go a little longer, a little sharper, a little more continuation. I don't think it'll be sideways unless you have a layout that makes it do that, but it will be a very late and continuous arc. Looks fantastic. So let's circle back to the shelf appeal. This is my favorite part of the review, and I am a big proponent of this because bowling balls are getting more expensive, and if we're going to buy something, we want it to look good. Nobody goes to the car dealership and says, you know what, give me that brown Pinto. I don't care if it's got a V8, but I want the bad looking car. No, you want a good looking car, and that's how we feel about our bowling balls. This ball has shelf appeal. This is probably one of the best Ebonite looking balls I have ever seen. Looks amazing. It's probably going to look just as good sitting on the rack as it does going down the lane as it goes through all three phases of ball motion and stuff like this. I would like to see Ebonite do more of this. I'd like to see more brands do more of this. This is fantastic. So, universal release date will be in the video description. And if you want to learn more about this ball and where you can pick it up, as always, I will have a link in the description where you can check this out on bowlersmart.com. Ooh, a lot of great information there. So, what do you think of the Game Breaker 4 Pearl? What do you think of the ruby and smoke colors? And what do you think of the potential of this going a little longer and a little sharper than the Game Breaker 4 Solid? And if you were to get one, what layout would you go with? Drop me a comment, let me know. Let's continue the conversation. More updates are coming, and until then, bowl well.